Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to apply a blur filter, a grayscale filter, or adjust the hue of a video in React Native iOS using the React Native's new architecture. So firstly I will show you guys the output. In the first output I am applying a blur filter. So I have two buttons. So one is called pick video and second one is called save video. So I'll click on pick video. It opens the video picker for us. I only have one video. I'll select that particular video. Then it applies that blur filter effect. Once that is applied, it will open the AV player controller and start playing the video. Now this will take a little bit of time. So if you have an extremely big video, so as you can see, you are not able to see anything in the video because I have applied the blur effect. Now this will take little bit of time if your video is very big. So I'm not displaying any progress bar as such, but if you want you can display a progress bar as well. But here you can see that it has, okay, my simulator has stopped working. I don't know why. Okay, so the video has finished. Anyways, just to show it to you again that it does work, here if I go back and if I play, here you can see the blur effect has been applied. You are not able to see anything. So if I click on finish, I'll just dismiss that player view controller. If I click on save, if I click on pick video again, here you can see now there are two videos. So first I have applied blur effect. Now what I'll do is I'll apply grayscale. If you want you can apply both of them simultaneously as well, but I don't want to do that. I'll just dismiss blur filter, for like comment out blur filter for now, and I'll show you the one for grayscale. Now before I show you grayscale, you should keep this documentation handy of turbo modules. So I'll be copying a lot of code from this particular documentation, so better you keep this documentation handy. So yeah, hopefully this should build our app. Okay, so it is, our app is ready. If I click on pick video, I will pick the original video. Okay, and it will apply some grayscale effect. Now this will take a little bit of time, but here you can see now everything is black. So grayscale as in everything is black. So I just mute the audio, but here you can see everything is black. You won't see the RGB color has been removed. So this is what grayscale is. And the next is hue adjust. Now there are multiple filters in iOS which are present by default, the CI filter which you see. So here I'm using hue adjust, here I'm using photo effect mono for grayscale. So you can try out multiple filters. Like currently for this video I have taken only 3 filters, but you can try out many more filters which are by default present in iOS. So you don't have to worry about using any third-party library. So okay, so the third output is also ready. If I click on pick video, I'll click on this particular video, and again it will change the hue. So I'll just mute the audio for now, and here you can see you see this greenish color which has been applied to our video. So that's what hue adjust is, but you can change the value to whatever you feel comfortable with. Again, so let's get started coding. So firstly I have created a React Native project. I'll just close everything for now. Then I will be following this documentation. First I have created a folder called rtn my transform. Then inside that I have created a file called package.json. Now I have copied every code of this from the documentation. Only thing which I have changed is this line over here, this line over here, this thing over here, and this thing over here. Everything else remains the same. Then I have created a podspec file. Again the naming is important depending on what folder name you have given. And over here again I have copy pasted it from the documentation, only this name changes. Then I have created a JS folder. Inside that I have created a TypeScript file. Again I have copy pasted everything from the docs. The only thing which I have changed is I have added 2 methods called transform, where we will be passing the video URL after picking a video for which we want to transform, like apply those effects like grayscale, hue adjust, hue adjust, and blur. And for saving I have a save method, and here I have changed this particular name. Everything else remains the same. Next, the documentation specifies that you have to create an iOS folder inside this RTM my transform. Okay, after running some command it tells you that create an iOS folder, but according to me that won't be a right choice because I want to make use of Swift, and if you create the iOS folder over here itself inside RTM my transform, you won't be able to use Swift. That's why the main logic has been written in this main iOS folder. I'll come back to that, but before that you will have to open your terminal, and firstly to enable the new architecture for iOS you will have to open your terminal, cd to your React Native project, then cd to the iOS folder, this particular iOS folder, and then run this command. This will take a little bit of time, be patient. This will enable the new architecture for iOS. Then we have to run this command. So make sure you cd outside your iOS folder, so you should be inside the root of your iOS folder, of your React Native folder, sorry, before running this command. So once you are, you can just run this command. This is our folder name. Then you will have to do cd dot dot move outside your React Native project, and then you will have to run this command. But here instead of rnapp iOS you will have to write your own project name. My project name is rnapp iOS, as you can see over here. That's why I have written it over here as well as over here, and this is our main folder name. Once that is done, you will have to cd to the main iOS folder. So again cd back to the main iOS folder inside your terminal, and then run this command. So this will do code generation of our RTN my transform folder. Once that is done, you will have to go to XE workspace of iOS and open it inside Xcode. I have already done that. First you will have to go to info.plist, and here I have added this photo library usage description permission because this is required for saving videos, so make sure you add this as well. Then for picking video, how to pick a video, I will come back to that later on because for that I'm using a third-party library. Then over here, so you will have to create this particular header file called RTN my transform. I have copy pasted everything from the documentation. The only change which you will have to make is you will have to import AVKit for doing all those kind of video transformation. This name has been changed and this has been changed. Everything else remains the same. Then you will have to create an Objective-C file, name it as RTN my transform, but make sure you change the extension to .mm, so it will become Objective-C++. And here again, firstly we have to okay, before explaining this code, you will again have to create one Swift file as well. So I have created one Swift file called my transform. Then Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Click yes, so it will create this bridging header for you. Then coming back to our Objective-C++ file, this has been copied from docs. So this is our header file name, and this should be your bridging header name. So my bridging header name is rnapp iOS, so I have written that over here. -swift.h will be common for everyone. Then here again this name has been changed. Here we are initializing our Swift file. This has been copied from docs, only this name has been changed. And here we are overriding our transform method, and I don't know why this is showing error. Okay, it should be called on main thread only. Maybe what we can, I mean it just gives a warning, it is not an error as such. So what we could do is we could move this entire thing. Okay, we can move this entire thing over here, I guess. Let's see if it builds or not, because I don't want to give you guys a wrong code. Okay, it has failed. Okay, because I need to move this outside the for loop as well, right? So here is the for loop ending, so I can just do it like this. Again, this is just a warning which Xcode gives, but I think it's better to avoid all the kind of warnings which we get. So let's see, if I click on pick video, pick this particular video. Okay, so it's working fine. Okay, so what I have done is that we are overriding this method which we had created inside our TypeScript file. Then we are calling this transform video with video URL. Transform with video URL, it is from our Swift file, which I will come back to in a bit. We are passing our video URL, and given that it is an asynchronous operation, we are using completion handler. So with the help of completion handler, we will either get a video URL or we will get an error. If we get a video URL, then we are initializing our AV player item. Then we are initializing our AV player, and on the main thread over here we are initializing our player view controller and assigning it to our assigning our player to player view controller. Then we need to get the root view controller to launch our AV player view controller. So for that, this is the logic for it. And once we get a root view controller, we launch our player view controller and start playing our video. In case of error, I'm just logging it to the console, and for save, I'm calling the save method of our from our Swift file over here. So that's it. Okay, now coming back to our Swift file. So here, as you can see, I'm first importing AVKit and photos. I have created one enum as well, my error, and here I have created one @Objective-C members of NS object. Here we are first creating our final URL, which will help us to save that particular video file once it is transformed. And for transforming it, we take a video URL. Here we first get hold of file manager, then AV URL asset, then we create AV mutable composition, then we get hold of our video composition track, our audio composition track, then we get our video track, asset video track, asset audio track. Then we load the duration, how much duration of the video is, and then we insert that time range for our video track as well as audio track. We create an export path as well as export URL. If the file already exists, we remove that particular file. Then you can select what you want to apply. For blur filter, you can uncomment this. Grayscale, you can uncomment this, and for you adjust, you can, I have already uncommented it, so you can use this. Then we have to create an AV asset export session, pass our export URL, pass our output file type, and should optimize for network use is true. Video composition, we pass our filter composition and we export it. Then we get the final URL, and here we assign it to our final URL variable and return the final URL. Then inside save, if I check if the final URL is present. If yes, then we check for request authorization of Photos app. If we already have it, then only we call perform changes, create request for asset from video, pass our final URL, which will help us to save file to external storage, to the Photos app. I mean, if it is success, I'm printing it to the console, but if you want, you can send that message back to React Native side. And for requesting this request authorization part, I have created one method just to check and request for authorization from the Photos app. So that's it from the Xcode part. Then you will have to come back to VS Code, and here I have installed one dependency for video picking, which is React Native Image Picker. React Native Image Picker is already supporting the new architecture, so you don't have to worry about it. Then go to app.tsx. I have imported our launch image library over here from React Native Image Picker, and I have also imported our RTN my transform. Then here I have created two buttons. On press of first button, I am calling pick video, and on click of second button, we are calling the save method from our RTM transform. Okay, and for pick video, as you can see, we are selecting media type of videos only, and once we have an URI of the picked video, we are passing that URI to the transformed method of our TypeScript file, which sends it back to Objective-C, which will send back to the Swift. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.